Hello and welcome. In this quick presentation, I would like to talk about and explain how VAT refund works when you have a trading company in China. Trading company in this example is going to be international trading company. As most of you might know, in China you can register two types of trading companies. One is local trading company, which cannot export or import, can only engage in trade inside China. But VAT refund here in this topic we will talk about is related to international trading company, which is able to export and import. So assume you register a company in Shanghai and your company is able to return VAT when you export products from China. For example, just to illustrate, your Shanghai company, for example, sources a product, okay, some sort of XYZ product from any factory in China. During this process, you need to ask the supplier to give you VAT invoice. Here, number one, you can see VAT invoice, because there are two types of invoices in China. One is ordinary invoice without including the VAT, but the second type is VAT invoice. So when you are purchasing products using your company in China, you can ask the supplier, can you please issue VAT invoice? And then they will give you this special invoice. Now the accountant that we provide is going to help you to apply VAT refund after the export is finalized. You export the product. Of course, we're going to assist you with that as well because we need to use that e-port. Let me write it down. So there's something called e-port. We talked about this before. There's a device. So all the export goes through this system. And then we gather all the documents, including this VAT invoice from the supplier. So the accountant takes all the documents and then submits to the tax department. So first application usually takes around 2 months because your company has not opened the profile yet. It's not, experienced in the tax system. So first application might take up to 2 months, but then following applications will be shorter. Actually, it might take 1 week or 2 weeks after this. So as you can see here, what is the advantage now? Okay, because most people think that, even if we return the VAT, we have to pay it during the export, right? Which is true, actually. But still, if you consider the advantage here, your company, trading company in China, still have a competitive advantage here over your competitors. Okay, for example, let's see, your competitors in some foreign markets, they are purchasing products from factories in China, and then obviously they are adding their profits. Most of the competitors, yes, they purchase the products without VAT from Chinese factories, but still, when they add their profits, it's usually much higher than 13%. So you still have, because this is what practice shows, all right? So you still have competitive advantage here in terms of pricing, and your company can, for example, purchase the product, including the VAT here, and then without marking up, you can sell this product. Okay, you still have slight marginal advantage there, and your profit will be obviously the VAT refund that you get from the government, from the tax office in China. We have seen the same practice over and over the years. Most of the big companies, trading companies, sourcing companies, they use this model. They get huge sourcing requests, orders from their country, and then they purchase the goods, including the VAT, but they will not mark up the prices when they sell the product in the market. For example, they get the product for, let's say, $10, okay, $10 an item, and that includes VAT. That is like up to 13% VAT, including this, okay? And then you sell the same product, okay, without changing this price. So once you sell it, You gather all the documents here on step 2 here, and then you get this 13% back to your company. This is your profit in China. So using this model, you can win over the competition in trading. And yes, there are some products, of course, which it doesn't make sense to return VAT because you can purchase them, much cheaper without including the VAT. Even if you mark up, there's a big margin. But this is not true for most of the products, okay? Because of course there are thousands and thousands, if not millions, of products available. So, but VAT refund applies to majority of the products. So, there are always exceptions, of course, in trade. We're not saying that you have to use this model, but still, when you have a trading company in China, for the majority of the products that are exported, this model applies perfectly. All right, especially when you are participating in government tenders, for example. I know that in government tenders there are like projects going on, for example, construction or some sort of update of a facility, for example, universities or government buildings, etc. Normally, for this kind of deals, it's very, very practical and common in many countries to include VAT and then profit from there. It's a common practice among our clients. All right. So here's an example, and we get this question a lot, like how do I do the VAT refund? So this is your answer here. Number 1, 1, 2, 3. I already wrote down how it's done. You get the VAT invoice, and accountant is going to help you handle the process, because even if you're fluent in Chinese, I keep repeating this in the videos, it's not your place, it's not your expertise, so to speak, to carry out this VAT refund, because the whole system, number 1, is in Chinese, and number 2, in order to get access to this system, you have to have accounting license. The accounting license is only given to citizens of China here, so therefore having an accountant who can do the VAT refund for you is kind of mandatory in China. It's not optional. I know most people assume that they can open a company in China, but they can hire their own accountant abroad, which kind of is not possible in China. All right. So accountant, Chinese accountant, we can provide that. A citizen of China with accounting license can only handle the VAT refund application for you. Another element I need to talk about is in our package we include accountant for the first year, but that accountant is for small scale taxpayer. Okay, here, small scale taxpayer. What does it mean? Small scale taxpayer is the type of company that cannot do VAT refund. So by default, all the companies in China, they are small scale taxpayers by default. But when you say to us that I want to do VAT refund, then we need to change the status, taxpayer status of your company to general, okay, taxpayer. So that is from small scale to general. We change it in the system. Once you change to general taxpayer, your company is able to apply for VAT refund. And that is one. Number 2 is once you change to general taxpayer, you're not able to go back to small scale taxpayer. You need to really think about this and then make a decision once only. Okay, it's not able to convert back to small scale. Now, at this point, you might wonder, why do I want to convert back? Well, it's because general taxpayer pays VAT in transactions which take place inside China. Okay, small scale taxpayer does not pay that. Just to illustrate, for example, your general taxpayer company, it sells product in China. Okay, this is Chinese market. Okay, Chinese market. Oops, sorry, let's market. So, sorry about the typo there. So, Chinese market, okay, so you sell product inside China. So, inside China, you need to pay VAT, okay? Depending on the product, of course, the VAT rate changes, but it's still between 6 and 11% inside China. When you export, obviously, export VAT is, this is inside China. Let me, this is overseas market now, okay? This is overseas market. For exports, you need to pay 13% VAT. Then this one alone will be returned to your company. This does not, okay? So this one does not. But this one, let me green, this return to your company. Overseas, which means export. So as you can see here, that is the cost you bear first, and then you get it back only when you export. So maybe for companies doing business inside China, being a general taxpayer is not so favorable, okay? Because you're just doing business inside China, all right? But when you decide to be a general taxpayer in this case, actually, we will always advise you when you stay with us, with our company, we always advise you against this. You know, depending on your business, we say that, well, you are doing business only inside China. So why do you want to be general taxpayer? It doesn't make sense. So that's why forget about it. I mean, this is a mistake. But when you're doing export or import, being a general taxpayer makes perfect sense because you can get this 13% back, especially when you're working with government factories, like government departments there, government projects in other markets. Like I mentioned earlier, usually for this kind of projects, it's very, very common that exporting companies include VAT and then they profit from this 13%. So I hope this is very clear, okay? This is not to push the idea that your company should be, general taxpayer here. It's just to explain the situation. In fact, actually, you have to be very careful here, okay? So when your clients overseas, abroad, they're not big clients maybe, or they're not, or they are actually aware that, you include VAT. Sometimes they might say that, okay, you already included VAT, we can directly go to factory and then purchase it without VAT. So in this case, yes, you have to be extremely cautious about pricing. So if that's the case, it's better to stay as a small scale taxpayer and then export without VAT, okay? And so it depends, as you can see, all right? But still, when you are working with government or project-based purchasing, getting VAT refund is very common. Anyways, guys, so I hope this makes it very clear regarding VAT refund. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comment section below. I will be glad to address them one by one. If you would like to talk to me over the phone about your business in China, you can book an appointment on our website. Go to www.jrandfirm.com/appointments. You can see it on the screen actually, and book an appointment. But please make sure you book an appointment during business hours in China, because we're located in Shanghai. It's GMT +8 time zone. So yeah, or just send an email and I will be glad to answer all of your questions. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.